Hi, my name is John Hilton, and I'm a shareholder here at LBMC. I lead our data insights practice, and our purpose is to help companies unlock business value with their data and partner with them on their data and analytics journey. Today, I'd like to share a few thoughts on the business problems private equity firms face in relationship to their data and propose how private equity firms can utilize data to increase the value of their portfolio companies. So, first, let's take a look at some of the business problems that private equity firms often face. Within the portfolio companies, there's usually multiple business systems that are utilized, whether that's to track their HR information or their financial systems or even supply and logistics. Compound that with the fact that many companies are often added into their portfolio on a routine basis. Even within the same portfolio company, there may be a tuck in where new systems are added to an already existing portfolio company. This compounds the impact of these multiple business systems all across the ecosystem, having unique data that companies would like to utilize to understand their business. Furthermore, diligence during a transaction is usually a one and done type of activity. So it's highly episodic. So, a proposition to think about in terms of a private equity company and its portfolio companies is that data is actually value accretive. If a private equity firm utilizes capital to infuse into a company to generate more value, in the same way, private equity can infuse data maturity into a portfolio company to increase its value or to find opportunities to grow value. On the next bullet, we see that there are many areas where a portfolio company may find that they have value loss or places that they can focus opportunities on value creation. So the proposition would be, how could a private equity firm and one of its portfolio companies do continuous due diligence? You can also start to streamline some of the data that comes within that portfolio company to do post-acquisition type of an analytics to understand its most critical KPIs. Finally, if any portfolio company exists in a highly competitive marketplace, other competitors may be utilizing data to improve their competitiveness, to understand their business more, and to make data-driven business decisions, thus making the entire sector highly competitive, and more so with the advantage going to those that utilize data in a proactive way. So let's take a look real quick at what I would say is the common data state across any unique portfolio company. Oftentimes, if they haven't really started their data journey, you'll find a situation like this where you have multiple source systems that house important business data, whether that's supply chain and warehousing data, or perhaps it's medical with the EMRs. And of course, there's always an HR system within any company. And finally, it's financial systems. I have two systems down there, both the current financial system, perhaps even there's an old financial system, or there's one that came in as part of an acquisition. Oftentimes, the data from these systems is utilized in Excel, where different types of pivot tables are created, or even unique reports are created. Perhaps even one of these source systems has a native dashboard that's built within that system. The problem usually comes when organizations try to integrate this together to get a dashboard or KPI reporting that needs to integrate data from multiple source systems. So how do you get to the next step? Well, the desired data state really is to get to a point where all of those systems on the left-hand side can be brought together in a seamless way to be housed in a cloud data platform. By doing this, they're able to integrate their data, cleanse it, and even do unique analysis against it. At the end of the day, they're trying to get all of this data into a reporting capability that allows them to see the most important KPIs that matter to the business. So after a high level view of this, what does this look like in real life as an example? Well, if we use Azure, which is Microsoft's cloud, as an example, you can see there on the left, yet again, all of the source systems that the business utilizes to do their business every day. And all of that data can be brought into the cloud, in this case through a data pipeline, such as Data Factory, get housed in a data warehouse, which I've represented there by Azure SQL. Some of the modeling of that can be put together more robustly for reporting and analysis services. And finally, are able to be consumed by multiple users across the organization in a data visualization tool such as Power BI. Furthermore, that data can be extracted and in the hands of users on their own computers if that's what they need in the form of an Excel spreadsheet. Even more advanced use cases could perhaps leverage unique codes like unique programming languages like Python within a Jupyter notebook to do data science analysis or any more advanced analysis. I'll also note that there at the bottom, you'll see something like Power Apps, and that's another tool that can be utilized if users need to directly input data so that it can go into the cloud data warehouse. Again, this is just an example of what that might look like. And what we see on this specific architecture to bring it even more to life is that you could have a situation where you're perhaps using these types of systems across and within your company, and you're still able to integrate that into this architecture. What is the end result after you build this cloud data platform? The end result is something like an executive dashboard. This is an example where you can start to understand your profits and your revenues over a certain period of time. You can segment out different products. You can segment out different locations or time periods to really understand how your business is performing. And then this can even produce drill downs where you can get even more details on any one of these particular data points or graphs. From a value accretive nature or standpoint, you could even start to do deeper dives into where is my portfolio company perhaps losing value, or what mitigations could I take to increase the value of this portfolio company. If you're in healthcare, perhaps a physician practice, maybe you want to look at rejection reasons and be able to really understand the value of those rejections or denials. Perhaps you want to look at bad debt by a certain procedural code. And this same logic could be applied across many different sectors, whether you're manufacturing or real estate or even construction. Finally, you can even start to really understand your revenue or your analytics as you want to compare different items. So on something on the right, you could take a look at different locations or different states or regions on a month-to-month basis, or taking a look at what's really driving your business, what type of services are driving your business, what type of costs are you incurring. This is really all to say that data can be an asset to an organization. The most important step any company can make on its data journey is the first step. All of these use cases and all of the discussion I just mentioned can come to fruition by just taking the first step on your data journey, setting up a simple data cloud, and then setting up simple analytics reports to help the company understand the business better. I'm happy to answer any questions or share more content. Please feel free to reach out to me. Again, I'm John Hilton at LBMC, and you can find me on LinkedIn. Thanks so much.